Okay, so this is a rant about life, I guess, and about cussing, I guess, or sorry, excuse me, profane language. That's what it's about. It's about profane language. Um, Typically, people cuss, or there's that fucking word again. People use profane language uh, when they're generally when something bad happens. Like, okay, take for example, in life, people teach us, teachers tell us, we can't use profane language in real life, but it's like, you know, what are you gonna? Okay, so later on in life, you've got a wife, kids, family, whatever, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, um, stuff just starts going down the shitter, and basically, what happens is that, okay, let's say you're like 40, you lose your job, your pension, your health care, your social security, your wife dies, the dog dies, the cat dies, and you're left in an empty house with 2 kids. Okay, so, in life, you're not just going to sit on your couch in your house and try to explain to your kids, they're just sitting around, playing around, whatever. They keep asking where mommy is, and where the dog is, and where the cat is. And, you can't just tell a fucking 10-year-old that half their family is gone. You can't just tell your kid, mommy's 6 feet under the ground and or in the morgue. You can't just tell that to a 10-year-old. This is only an example, okay? This is only an example. You can't just tell a 10-year-old that. In life, also, what I've learned is that, things will happen to you, and it's up to you to be prepared for whatever it is in life that happens. And also, it seems as though life just gets harder after you turn about 13, generally, give or take. Also, it's like when they teach us not to use profane language, they use profane language. I mean, our teachers in school, when they're out in the world, they curse. No, they use profane language. I don't know why I keep using that word. It's not even a word. They use profane language, and it's kind of like, I'm only 18. Granted, I'm only 18. But it shouldn't even matter if you use profane language or not. What if something like happened to you? It's like the teacher doesn't know why you cuss, use profane language. They don't know why you do that. It could be, the fact that, your best friend just died or something, like your goldfish just died, something. Just something that was close to you just disappeared forever. It's not something someone should go through, and then maybe you get picked on at school for being different, maybe it's the fact that, no one was ever there for you. Possibly you got child abuse, or, parents are drunks or drug addicts, or, you have that one uncle that's a rapist or whatever, or something. I mean, teachers don't understand why kids do what they do. They don't understand why teenagers do what they do. They don't understand anything apparently. But we have to give them their moment. We have to give them their moment. It's not. I mean, we could just just use profane language all the time. Really, if you think about it. I mean, I do. I've been using profane language for the last 6 years. But my thing is, it's not even. It shouldn't even be an issue, really. It's an invalid concept. That's just. It's just. You use profane language. Go ahead. It might look unprofessional, but who cares? If you have something that you need to say, and it's just right there, and there's like no other way in hell that you can say it without without profane language, then it's like going back to the example, like if your wife dies, your kids just playing around, whatever, and mommy's dead, she's not coming back, How do you raise two kids like that? Like, what are you supposed to tell them when they get older? Like how what? And then on top of that, like, okay, you lose your job, your pension, your welfare, and your food stamps, your social security, everything. You lose it all after working your fingers to the bone for the last, say, 20, 30 years, 40 years, whatever. I mean, life's rough, man. It's not for everybody, I don't think, but it's the will to carry on when you are presented with a challenge in life. And when you are presented a challenge that is too great for yourself, and everyone else leaves you, and you're pretty much alone in the situation, you have to fight until you're dead. It's pretty much a death match at that point. Never let death kill you. He's a cruel bastard. He's an asshole. He's just it's the fact that not too many people are like. It's like too many people just let stuff get to them. Even me. Like I'll admit it. I let stuff get to me. But it's because I know I have the strength to carry past it, and it won't kill me. I'll be sad for a while. Anybody would, but I get through it. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, it's not the fact that keep your friends close, your enemies closer. It's the fact that, if you have friends and you have closer friends, and then you have that like group of like 5 that'll stick with you for the rest of forever, stay with those ones. I mean, there's people in your life now. There's people in your life that you would never guess in a million years would ever be your closest friend. Would ever be there for your ass. It's like there's things that's like it seems like when you're pretty much on one knee in life, it's like life is like a battlefield. You gotta realize this. It's like when you're as a metaphor, it would be like when a soldier's down on his knees in battle, and then he's like halfway dead, He's halfway dead. He's got bullet holes in him, He's got the bullets still in him, And then his friends come to his aid, like right there, like right there, right in the middle of everything. They pick him up, they carry him to wherever, they bandage him up and tell him to keep going, It's, you either take the bullets out or you don't, You just leave them in there if you want to, but it's not really, I mean, they're stainless steel bullets. I mean, you're not going to die unless you bleed out. But, what I mean? It's like, what I've learned is like when people, people underestimate the power of your friends, If you're a misfit in society, people look at you different and they think that there's something wrong with you, when really, there may or may not be, It's, you choose to live that lifestyle, and, I mean, you can't just, nobody can take that from you, and if they do, if they try, tell them to fuck off. I mean, it's that easy. Just be like, fuck off, man. If you don't like me, then fuck off, And it's like, with me, I don't care, It's like, it's because of personal stuff that's happened in my past. But anyway, it's the fact that when you get to a point in your life where that one situation could be a life and death, you gotta fight that shit till the end, man. You gotta fight it, man. It's it's like the thing with, there was a philosopher, I can't remember exactly what his name was. He said, it's an old army saying or whatever, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, And, what goes around comes around, and, no one gets left behind, It's the few things in life that you learn that stick with you, that pretty much build you like a tank. You gotta take bullets from all sides of the world, It's, some people are gonna be weaker than others. And for the people that are stronger than those people, it's probably better to help those people. If you're stronger and they trust you, and even if they don't even know you and you're stronger than them, I don't care if they're the weirdest fucking person you've ever met. Okay? I don't. Because I'm going to tell you something. That person might be going through so much shit that you'll never even know about. And then, like, one day you'll hear about them on the news that they killed themselves, pretty much. And, and you didn't do anything to help them. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you knew all of that was happening, little bits and pieces. You didn't know all of it. You just knew from what you heard, little bits and pieces. And you kind of had an idea of what might have been going on, But, it's like, sorry about that. I am sick. I am, like, so sick right now. God damn it. It's like, the thing is, it's like, when you basically, it's like you, like me, I almost on purpose try to find the ones I know need me the most. And usually, 9 times out of 10, they're generally weaker than I am. And it's because that I'm stronger that I help them instead than help the ones that are stronger than I am. because I know that they're not going to be affected. Like they're okay, and the ones that need help, the ones that are like over here, are like, it's like there's like an ancient saying or whatever. It's kind of like a Christian reference, but it says like, God will leave. There will be 100. Okay, there will be 100 sheep in a flock, and one of them will go astray. God will leave the 99 behind, and go look for that one that's missing. The reason for that is, again, no one gets left behind. It's one of those things where it's like, it's like if someone's going through something, I mean, usually you can tell, but if you can't, go help. It doesn't even matter. Just be like, hey, what's up? I mean, if they don't want to talk to you, then fine, but at least be like, just at least greet them or whatever, and try to get to know them if you can. But I mean, you gotta at least try. I mean, it's like it's one of those things where the harder it the amount of just pure, like, wintertime is generally the most depressing because it's cold, it's sometimes dreary depending on where you are in the world. Like, if you're up north, like way up north, like past New York and crap, in Canada and states like that up there, versus down like Florida, Texas, or possibly even Mexico. Like with Florida, I've realized that everybody is fucking crazy, and that's okay. But it's also a lot stricter down here for some reason. I don't know why. But like up north from where I was up in Virginia, and it was quiet up there, but there was people that I knew that were a little bit disturbed, and I hung out with those people. I've hung out with disturbed people, just crazy people. I've hung out with all sorts of people all throughout my life. Fuck. God damn it. But it's like, my thing is, like, getting back to profane language, when somebody's going through something or whatever, or even if they're not even going through something, if they just want to cuss or use profane language just for the hell of it, it's one of those things where, maybe they had a messed up childhood, maybe they, maybe it had to have been something in their life, that it causes them to use that kind of language. It's one of those things where, maybe one of their friends killed themselves, and they're going through that and going through the grief of their deceased friend. Maybe they were close to their deceased friend, and their deceased friend was getting picked on like all the time for being, like your stereotypical like emo scene kid or whatever, or just being different, or just being weird as shit, and he or she got picked on all the time. And it's like, why do people pick on people like that? It's not even cool, It's disturbing, really. It's even more disturbing than the person that's actually disturbed. It's like, why? It's like, you have nothing better to do than pick on people that have problems already, and you're just going to add to that. You're just want to choke the shit out of people. Like that. It's like, you are causing the problem that they have and making it worse. Like, why in the hell are you making someone else's life miserable? On purpose. And then picking on them just to fucking do it. It's like one of those things where, why don't you just judge your goddamn self first, and then if you finally picked on yourself long enough and everybody knows you do it, then it's not even right even then, but at least everybody will know that you're not picking on someone just to fucking pick on them. It's like one of those things where it's like, or maybe, if you pick on yourself more than you pick on other people, like the cheerleaders and the football team and the preps of the fucking school that just walk around and treat everybody else like total crap all the time because they're quote unquote lower than they are, then, if the football team, the preps, and everybody else like that actually picked on themselves more than they pick on other people for being different and not being some sort of rich kid that drives around in his mom or dad's car that's like $100,000 and wrecks it into a fucking tree like a week later, and their parents are like fucking lawyers and doctors and crap, and that the rich kids, the preps and all them, if they'd stop and look at all the other people that they're causing grief to and realize that it's pretty much the crappiest thing you can do to somebody, one, there wouldn't be as much violence and suicide in schools. Two, there wouldn't be, there wouldn't be as much, profanity and racial slurs and God only knows what else going around in schools, selling drugs, selling guns, selling knives, selling whatever the hell they're selling or whatever. Just watching porn in school or whatever. I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's probably wouldn't be as much of that if it wasn't for the preps. And then the teachers and the principals and everybody else just make it worse. Because they always think there's something wrong with you. A disturbed person usually, from what I've seen, makes better grades than preps, really. And preps I hate them so much because, one, preps just are sickening to me. They just sicken me. It's like they pick on lower people to make themselves feel better because they're bullies and they're dealing with something that indirectly that they don't know about. It's like, why? You can't pick on yourself in the mirror. It's ridiculous. This is the most. It's the stupidest concept I've ever had the pleasure of viewing. And it's not even a pleasure; it's an unpleasure. It's one of those things where I didn't even want to experience it. Like I got picked on. I get picked on all the time. Even in college now, I still get picked on. I just learned to not give a shit. Like in middle school and high school, picked on all the time. I even got jumped once, just for being different. It's ridiculous. It's like, grow the fuck up, really. It's like you know, it's one of those things where, you know you know that somebody is different, so you judge them, or you call them names, or you start crap with them, and then one day they finally just snap and try to kill you with their bare hands. And then you wonder why, and everybody freaks out, and they wonder why. It's because they fucking picked on the kid that was minding his own damn business and being different. And you wonder why there's so many people that have probation under the age of 17, under the age of 16. Some of them, I knew a kid once, he was like 13, 14, had probation for attempted murder. I think it was, I don't know. I think it was like, he or she, they, whatever, they got into a fight with a teacher or something, and they were throwing stuff in the classroom, and something hit the teacher, or whatever, I don't know. But, it's one of those things where it's like, that kid was different, he got picked on all the time for being different. It's not something that, you can just be like, oh, well, that's just crazy because, he was crazy to begin with. No, he was minding his own damn business. He or she was minding their own damn business. And you came along and fucked with them. They have friends of their own that they talk to. They don't need your preppy ass talking to them and making them feel bad about themselves when they're already probably having a crappy life anyway. It's like, it's basically what it comes down to is when they cuss in excess because you've made something click in them, and they just cuss your ass out, and then after that, you guys get into a fist fight or whatever, and then it turns into a brawl, and then it turns into something even bigger than that. You're going to wonder why it happened. It's because you picked them. Because 9 times out of 10, your preppy ass might have, like, you might be on the football team, or, you might be on the soccer team, or you might be on a sports team, period, and you think that you're bigger than them. You'd be wrong. Because a lot of those kids, not only can they fight for themselves, but generally, they have more than 5 friends that can back them up and kick your ass. It's not just going to be them kicking your ass. It's not just going to be that one person kicking your ass. It's going to be like possibly up to 10 people on one person, on one prep. It's one of those things where it's dangerous, It's dangerous messing with somewhat disturbed people, With me, I help those people, It's actually better to help them. 10 times out of 10, it's better to help them than to, like, call them names and shit. Because, I mean, if I call somebody a name, I'll call myself something worse, I call myself something way worse than what I call them, It's like, it's one of those things where, if you're going to make somebody feel like shit, then make sure that you talk even worse shit about yourself. It's like one of those things. It's like, if you're gonna pick on somebody, even though it's not right, if you're gonna pick on somebody, pick on yourself too. and do it a lot worse. Because it's bullshit. Like, why would you pick on somebody, and then when they cuss or use profane language, they start dropping F-bombs and all sorts of other words. You're gonna wonder why, and then later on down the road, they might actually have a good life after that, and at like let's say a high school reunion or a college reunion or something 20, 30 years after that, if they still remember you, they're going to want to kick your ass, more than likely. And if not, then they're probably just not going to talk to you. It's one of those things where you got to be nice to everybody. It's not just certain people, just you're nice to everybody. It's not that hard. It's not that fucking hard, okay? It's not that hard to be nice to somebody. And it's even easier to forgive somebody for doing something stupid and for doing something wrong, because one, everybody makes mistakes, and two, nobody's fucking perfect, okay? And three, if you think that you can't make mistakes or that you're perfect, there was only one person that I've heard about that was perfect on this earth, and whether you believe he's real or not, that one person was Jesus Christ. And I'm pretty sure that if you're a reincarnation of Jesus Christ, then you're fine. But if not, then shut the fuck up, because it's the concept of everybody makes mistakes, nobody's perfect, and even people that don't really mess up as much as other people, even though they don't mess up as much, they're not perfect either. I mean, hello, it's like they're not perfect either. They make mistakes sometimes too. It's gonna happen, inevitably, Nobody's gonna just sit here and teach you stuff all day long. I mean, nobody's gonna teach you the rules of life. You gotta pretty much like guess at what they are. You gotta pretty much guess what works for the majority of everybody. You gotta guess what works for them, and then just go with it. Just wing life, pretty much. Just don't want to gamble with life, Just if there's a decision to be made, whether it's easy or not, you gotta look at all the pieces. It's like a puzzle. Let's say, I'm not gonna say 1,000-piece puzzle. That's too big. It's too big. Let's just say it's a 50-piece puzzle, okay? Something bigger, something that's not so hard to put together, okay? And you're the centerpiece. okay? You're the centerpiece, and all the other things, like that one problem, okay, you're centerpiece, but the problem you have is right there with you in the centerpiece. And you've got to look at all the variables. You got to look at all the conclusions. You got to look at everything that may go right or wrong in the situation. And it should only take you about a minute and a half at best. Some people it takes them longer because they go into detail in their mind about what might happen, like with me. But if it's a simple problem, like deciding what to wear, simple. That's a simple problem. Just throw on some jeans and throw on a shirt and just walk the hell out of the house. That's not that hard. But if it's something like, you know, teaching your kids about like sex ed or something, or teaching your kids like, you know, not to run over the old lady on the sidewalk, you know, with their car, your car or their car that you bought them or whatever. It's like one of those things where you got to be careful of what you say sometimes. You know, sometimes you got to be careful with it. Other times, not so much. Just no one cares. But, you know, just stay away from cops. Stay away from government officials. Because they'll screw you over. And it's a 50-50 on with doctors, you know, with like psychiatrists and stuff. Always keep your guard up around therapists as well. Always keep your guard up against those four. But stay away from cops and government officials because they'll fuck up your whole life. But with therapists and psychologists, you got to keep your guard up against those. With teachers and principals, you still got to keep your guard up. A little less than with psychologists and therapists, but you still got to make sure that, you know, it doesn't sound like you know, you're disturbed. Or even if something does come out and it's disturbed, you got to make sure, you know, that you back it up with something stupid, you know, so that they don't see that it's, you know, the concept is not to even say anything fucked up, but, you know, if you do, just say it around your friends and make sure nobody else is around, like a prep or a teacher or whatever. I mean, if you're out in public and you're listening to your music like full blast and everybody else can hear it, and you're singing to it and it's disturbing, whatever, then it's a song. It's what you listen to. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, every day I sit here in my room or in public or wherever I'm at and I just sing whatever. You know, I don't care what it is. But, you know, the thing is that everybody's like snowflakes. Nobody's the same. And if they are the same, that's impossible because not even Siamese twins are the same. Hate to break that to you, Siamese twins aren't the same. But if you have similar interests, you know, if you have similar paths or close enough paths or close enough interests, whatever, you know, they'll probably become your best friends. You never know. It's like, you know, it's one of those things where you can't just judge somebody on what they look like, you know. I mean, like, take like goths, for example, okay? Just for a second. Goths get picked on because they're different. You know, they're different because of circumstances that they've probably been through. You know, they choose to live that lifestyle different from the entire cultural crowd of society of where they are. In some countries, it's just normal. In the United States, it's not as normal anymore as it used to be in the 80s or the 70s or the 90, 91, possibly 1992. It's not as socially accepted anymore as it used to be, but, you know, it doesn't matter. People are who they are. whatever they do, if they decide to tell you, then be nice to them. It's probably not easy for them to tell somebody what they've been through or why they are the way they are. It's probably not easy for them, and if it is, then accept it anyway. Who cares? But secrets are secrets. If somebody tells you something, you can't go around telling everybody else. If they tell everybody else, then that's their own business. Then that's who they are. But if there's that one friend of yours that comes to you and tells you stuff that they've kept inside for so long that it just eats at them, and then they just finally just tell you out of anybody because they trust you a lot. If they tell you something, make sure it's a forgive and forget thing like that, because you don't want to keep remembering that in your head, because it'll get at you, I thought I just made this video just because it's a rant video. It's something that's been on my mind, I guess, for a little bit, and I just had to get all the pieces together in order to make this. This is only my second video, so hopefully I'll have more rant videos for people, about life and society and stuff, or whatever. My own personal experiential problems or what have you with society, culture now. My own personal views or whatever. If you agree or disagree, it's up to you. I don't care. But I do care. It's just it's like one of those things where I've said it for so long that it just is like second nature. I just say it. I do care about everybody except preps, because they're assholes and I don't really like them too much because it was mainly them that picked on me and all my friends. So I pretty much said fuck them. And I said fuck them to teachers, principals, psychologists. I've said it to everybody pretty much that picked on every kind of person that kind of picked on me and my friends. I said fuck them. It's like one of those things where you gotta be. It's just different, I hate country music, I hate country music. I can't stand it. I listen to my rock and my metal because it just sounds better to me. I've given every kind of music at least one chance. So I'm not like prejudiced against anything. It's just I don't like country. It just sucks to me. And then opera gives me a goddamn headache, so I don't listen to that. And then reggae and blues and stuff like that, I don't listen to that either, because that's just depressing as shit. Like I just don't like it. Like my rock and my metal and stuff, it gives me that kind of strength to keep going. But that's whatever. So I guess that's about it. For all of you who's watching or watch this video, I should have more videos later on in the month or whatever. Just rant videos or cover videos for songs or whatever. Feel free to send me anything when you see this video. If you have any questions or comments, just tell me. Just inbox me or whatever it is that people do anymore. I'll answer just about anything. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not like about completely stupid shit like the government. I hate the government. If it's about anything else, I'll answer it. If it's about, a crisis that you're in, I could probably help you. I could probably give you some advice as to what you could do. The rest is up to you about what you want to do. I guess that's about it.